So for many years, the request for granting constitutional status for the NCBC has been pending with the union government, sir. For best reasons known to the governments earlier, why haven't they done this? I just leave it to them. But at present, I would like to wholeheartedly congratulate the central government and our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, for taking this historic step of granting constitutional status for National Commission of Backward Classes, sir. Ever since the formation of the NCBC in 1992, and also there have been many parliamentary committees that have started, and with good memory, I would like to put it in the notice of the House, sir. My father, Shri late Rammohan Naidu Garu, when he was also present in that OBC committee a decade ago, he also requested for this constitutional status to be given to this committee. And today, with great pride, I sit in this very august house. I also had the good fortune of being the member of the OBC committee. And in this time, for the government to grant this status, sir, it means a lot to me, to our state, and also to all the OBCs across this country. Sir, coming to the controversial point that has been raised by the speakers who spoke before me, the clarification needs to be given from the cabinet minister, from the central minister Gehlot ji, regarding the right of the state in determining the OBC status of a community or a class. Because, sir, if you consider the state of Andhra Pradesh, there are 139 castes which come under the backward list under the states, which are not completely recognized by the central government itself under the OBC list. So considering the state of Andhra Pradesh, the OBC list with the center has different castes, and with the state there is a different list which has additional castes. Now if you don't give the power to the state, saying that what needs to be considered under the BC, let it be the state one or the center one, then, sir, it might lead to a lot of chaos, lot of confusion, both at the center and the state, sir. And also, the center needs to take into account that some of the castes are present in different states. Considering now that Andhra Pradesh and Telangana have been divided into two states, the same communities, the same castes are present in both the states. And if you look at the state level, both the governments, the state governments are treating these communities at a different status. How will the central government look at these states is a very, very crucial point. So there are a lot of intricacies when you consider this OBC status given to a particular community, sir. And I feel, coming from a regional party and a party which has been found on the pillars of backward classes since the founder, Nandamuri Taraka Ramarao Garu, who famously said, society is the temple and people are gods. And on these lines, he has constantly tried to help the backward classes of the state of Andhra Pradesh. And we have still been continuing on that policy, sir. And even today, if you consider for the upliftment of the backward classes, we have been spending, in just the last year, we have spent of an approximate of 2,000 crores rupees, sir, for just the education, for the educational upliftment of the backward classes in the state. And when the state government requests the central government to help in this great cause of providing education to the BCs, out of these 2,000 crores, in the last year they have only provided 34 crores, sir, which is very, very meager. And the provision to give more also is very, very little. Even this year we could only request for a meager 125 crores.
Oh, yes.
Why I am saying this, sir? Madam, 27% reservation has been recommended by the Mandal Commission for the OBCs. But madam, even today,
Yes.
the recent statistics the RTI in 2015 states that out of this 27%, the central institutions only accommodate only 12% of OBCs in their respective posts. And if you consider the higher posts after promotions and all that, it doesn't go over 7%. So there has been a lot of injustice in fulfilling that 27% which is being recommended by the Mandal Commission itself. And which is why we all requested for this constitutional status also, which will help in achieving the 27%. But is this constitutional status being granted to the NCBC enough to give that 27% is still needs to be considered by the central government?
Yes.
What more do we need to do? Because, madam, there are a lot of other hindrances other than this constitutional status in fulfilling that 27%. One of them is the creamy layer also, madam. When you consider the creamy layer, at present there is a limit of 6 lakhs. But, madam, if you see, the people who come under the class below the 6% are not educated enough to compete and fulfill that 27% for the OBCs. Which is why the Justice Ishwaraya Committee has also recommended that the creamy layer limit should be upgraded, madam. Every 2-3 years it has been. Madam, give me 5 minutes, madam.
No. Now 2 minutes. Only.
Madam, it is a historic bill, madam. I think everyone should need to put their constructive ideas into this.
Everybody will get a chance, but only for 2 minutes. Yes.
So, the other thing, madam, the financial provision for this NCBC is also 4.08 crores, which I think is also very, very meager for the operation of the commission itself.
Yes.
Now that we see, even though it's debatable, we are saying that 50 or more than 50% of the country's population comes under OBC. Then you can imagine how many grievances would be coming to the commission, how many complaints would be coming to the commission. Now the 4.08 crores wouldn't even be enough to pay the salaries of the present commission, whoever is working with the commission, madam. And they have to do additional surveys. Now we are talking about going into the states, finding out who deserves the OBC status and all that. So there has to be more financial provision being granted to this NCBC also, madam. Other than that, like the states which have declassified the BCs into BCA, BCB, like the state of Andhra Pradesh, the center also has to look into declassification of the OBCs into different categories. Considering that 54% of the OBCs across the country are put under one single category, and to fulfill that 27%, it doesn't seem to be justified, madam. That is why the central government also has to look into making different categories. There are denotified tribes in the OBCs also which are recognized by the central government. There are different most backward classes and also certain backward classes. So the classification needs to be done within this OBC, madam, at the central level also. And also, like the states, they are promoting they are giving different kinds of schemes, madam, for BCs. Like for the state of Andhra Pradesh, we are giving scholarships.
Thank you.
We are building new centers for their educational status. Madam, 1 minute, I'll conclude, madam. 1 minute.
Yes.
Like that, the center needs to support the states which are coming up with good schemes to help the BCs also. They have to have sufficient allocation of funds being made, which there have to be many more steps, madam. I congratulate this government and also the Prime Minister for taking up this historic step of granting the constitutional status, but further steps need to be followed up for this, for the upliftment of BCs, madam. Thank you so much.
लोक सभा में आए हैं, हम सभी स्वागत करते हैं आपके तरफ से, और लंबी उम्र उनको दे और लंबे तक जिए और देश की सेवा करते रहे।